This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the fishing crew. Gave you a little right-handed hook set there.
It's a little more dangerous now that we're in the same studio with the hook set.
Well,
I had to slide over just for the hook set.
You slid over, and I thought, that's it. I'm going to graze. I'm going to graze your cheek with a hook set and give it to you. You know, the one thing I've noticed about the last few times we've been on doing this, that I got one ear that sticks out further than the other. You notice that? Look at me. No, see, you're symmetrical. You're good, but yeah,
I don't tend to look. My bill of my hat bugs me every week, so I don't know.
Does it? Yeah. Because you have it turned off to the side, or do that Nick Monk thing?
Well, no, it's never straight. It doesn't feel like this one's better than normal. But
have you ever done that where you think it's straight and then you see it and it's crooked?
Yeah. So,
anywho.
Well, first week in the studio together. I mean, we've done this before, but I mean, I've came and sliding sideways into your house, your old house in Brookings, but now you're officially welcome to Pier, bud.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much. It's really it's fun to be in Pier. I've been dabbling a little on KGFX. Just they kind of give me a chance to get my toes wet, and I can't wait to get my whole foot in the water because
you're 3 days in, though. So
yeah, only 3 days in. But it takes a while.
It's really nice to have you here. It's
fun.
We had some nice fresh walleye for dinner, so that was good.
We did. Yeah, we actually, you had all the luck. So we're down at the Stilling Basin, and Kurt comes down after everybody else is set in their position, and he's in there elbowing his way in.
It wasn't like that.
He chucks that thing out there. He's like, "Hey, Jason, here's how you catch them." Like, really?
It wasn't first cast. It was second.
Okay, it was the second. Yeah, but still, nonetheless. All right, we better bring Toby in here. Right here, I'll go over and click it now that I've got control of everything. I got to go here.
We should be on
there.
Yeah.
Nate.
So, Toby, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Just great. Been a roller coaster of a week. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I bet.
So, for those who don't know, Toby went up to the AFTCO Big Walleye.
The Walleye
Throwdown, and you were lucky enough to be the $15,000 champion. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was your very first fish over 30 inches, I've been told.
Yep, it has, but it was. And what better way for it to come?
Yeah, isn't that the truth? You know, in the whole story is pretty badass. Look at that $15,000. Yeah, well, Nate. So I'm going to show this picture here real quick because obviously you knew well before the ceremony started, the award ceremony started, that you were going to win, that you had the biggest walleye, and I kept looking over at you, and like, how is he holding it together? He's just kind of sitting there, all calm and collected, and like I would just. Well, then I talked to you after they announced the fact that you won, but then they waited until, like, I don't know, half an hour later, you and I were standing there, and you finally said, "Okay, I think I'm just going to go sit down." Yeah, it doesn't just stand here either, So it was kind of interesting what they did, but then you got you got the opportunity to go on stage and hold that big fish. I'm glad they had the fish in the coolers because there were some monster fish there. Tell us about your fish and the catch.
Well, it started out as a tough weekend for us, and I don't know. I was really struggling, and I didn't have much confidence in what I was doing, and I don't think I put a fish in the boat all day until that one, and it just happened to come at the perfect time. I mean, when you got 2 hours left in the match and everything, and to put that in the boat and go weigh it in like that, it was just crazy, and it's so hard to wrap your head around it.
So for those people who don't know, and I'm not 100% up to speed on exactly how it worked, I read the rules, but kind of go through the format of the tournament a little bit so people understand when you say 2 hour periods.
So it was actually broke out into sessions, and each session you had the potential to win that session, and then they paid down 8 places in each session. So, and more or less it was who weighed the biggest fish in during that session. So had the potential to win it. And then overall you were able to, whoever had the biggest fish throughout all the sessions in the 2 days, was able to win the tournament.
So you weigh in every two, so that you could go out from like 4 different boat ramps, correct? You go out, I guess, I think Whitlock,
it was pretty much any boat ramp within the boundaries you could go out of. And
so boundary, I know south boundary was 212, and the northern boundary was like Mobridge, or was it?
Yeah, the railroad bridge in Mobridge.
Was it Mobridge? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was both. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So there was 200 and I think Chad told me
246.
Yeah, okay.
246 guys, and you're out there just looking for the biggest fish. And I was up there Thursday night prior, and I was in the Schillings trailer or in their shop talking with them, and Bo's like, I'm not weighing a fish unless it's 14 pounds.
Yeah, he said 15.
He's like, I'm not going unless it's 14. That's what I'm going to need to win this thing. And he didn't weigh a fish in, I don't think. I mean, he didn't. He swung for it, and that's what he did. But there was like a pontoon division, which was like $5,000 to win if you wanted a pontoon.
It ended up being 7,500.
What's that?
It ended up being 7,500 to win that.
Yeah, right. That's right. 7,500.
7,500. The Kent Kramer Award for the youth, which Paulie Steffen's boy Waylon second tournament ever, wins that for the 12.22.
Yeah, 12.22, 12.2.
So I mean, there was a ton of different prizes you could win. I think Chad said there was 32 different ways to win, but the main prize was a $15,000 big fish.
Right. And it started out at 10,000. So I think with all the entries and everything in AFTCO, and I couldn't believe it when we showed up to the rules meeting and they announced that it was going up to 15.
Yeah, because I think they were expecting 200, and with the 246, which is interesting when you sit there and you look at how you do the math on that. But I suppose you add another 46 anglers to it, and you're putting money in the kitty for the anglers. So lucky you. I mean, did you have any idea once you weighed in that the price had gone from 10 to 15?
We knew at the rules meeting
they told you early
on Friday night.
So you get up there. I know Nate was asking me about stuff because you asked him to go, and then I saw you won it. And the first thing I asked him is, "How mad are you?"
Yeah. Sorry, I laughed at you, pal, but you had a chance, and
it's Nate's loss. Yep, he had the opportunity.
I fished with Nate. You would have had bad omen in the back of the boat. You're lucky.
I don't know. I've had really good luck fishing with him.
Oh, that's funny. Well, honestly, for a knucklehead, the guy is actually a pretty good fisherman. Honestly, I'm not kidding you. He actually is a pretty good fisherman. Now, he called me and said, Toby's going to win this thing. He's my cousin. And so I went back on 23andMe just to see. Yeah, well,
Nate, you know it.
So I went back to 23andMe and I typed in your name and I spelled it with an E and I couldn't find it. And then I finally got it without an E. And then I put Nate's name in there. And so I started over here. And by the time I got to your connection, I was like, way where I'm like, okay, that's like 17 generations. I mean, there's so much, they're not even cousins anymore.
But so you go up there, you get up to the Whitlocks area or the Akaska area, go through how many days did you go up there for? What was your presentation?
Well, I've been fishing up there pretty much all summer. Not that far north, but me and Ryan and everything, I don't really know that I'd spend any time north of the bridge. Everything was pretty much south of the bridge, that the fishing that we'd done up there this year. And it just happened to be that when we went to weigh one of Ryan's fish in for the session, that we just stayed up in that area and found a little spot that actually Saturday night after you couldn't weigh a fish in anymore. We were trolling around and I happened to throw at a fish and caught a 27 that was really nice fish that I wished I would have caught, an hour earlier, but that happens. So, and then we kind of went back, and Ryan had another fish the next day that he wanted to go weigh in. So we ran up and weighed that in, and we fished some other places. And I'm like, let's go down there where we caught that 27 last night and see if there's any more in there. And it was about the same area where I caught this one. So
was there a lot of boats around you, or were you kind of off in no man's land?
Well, when we pulled up on that spot, there was about 4 or 5 that were scattered within probably about 500-600 yards of us. And some of them had left, and there was down to 2 boats that were there when I caught that one, and they were clear up ahead of us, and they happened to be positioned right where they actually seen us net it and pull it in the boat, and they were even hooping and hollering for us and everything, and that we pulled something like that out.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a ton of fun with everybody around you watching, but it took you to the very last session. So, yeah. Right? I mean, you waited the last 2 hours to weigh that thing in. So, and they said they had live updates all day. Were you able to see the live updates where you were at? Because that was going to be kind of touch and go with service up there for people.
I didn't have any problem seeing the leaderboards and stuff like that throughout the day. Not that I checked it a lot, but there was a few times where I did look, and yeah, I didn't have any problems with it. So
I think I would have hated to be Sierra leading all day. It was Sierra, right? Leading all day Saturday with a 13:02. And you got to hang on Sunday, right? And then all of a sudden, some bigger fish started coming in, because the next smallest, or do I say the next biggest, was 13.55.
Yeah. So, and I don't know when that one was weighed in. I think it was the session before
you. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So when you hook into this fish and never catching one over 30 inches in your life, and it comes up, I mean, that's just got to be a dumpster fire of emotions at that moment.
Well, I got a better story that goes with it. So,
yeah.
So Josh Bible actually built me a rod this year for jigging and stuff, and it's more or less a medium light rod, and I took and I tore one of my other lines off, and that was the other rod that I had in the boat, and instead of tying a new leader and everything on it, I just tied onto this one and started pitching with it, because I didn't think I was going to make anything go, and I was just throwing in anything and everything to catch a fish, to say I put a fish in the boat today, and then when this one hooked on, it was like fighting a northern with an ultralight rod. So yeah. So there was a lot of excitement in it, but in the same token, you're sitting there holding your breath, trying to, hoping nothing breaks and that you can actually get it landed.
Did you know it was a walleye, or at what point did you go, okay, this is not a catfish?
Well, and at first I started out, I thought it was a catfish, just the way it was fighting and everything. But yeah, I really didn't know it was a walleye until I could actually see it.
Yeah, I hooked onto one rapid a couple years ago, and I'm like, I set the hook, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And it was in like 45 foot of water. So as I'm reeling it up, I keep going, it's a walleye. No, it's a catfish. No, it's a walleye. No, it's a catfish. And it never rolled. It never rolled. And I'm getting it up there, and I just as I go to, my buddy goes to scoop it with the net, I look over, and I'm like, we both said at the same time, catfish. And it was like a freaking 12-pound catfish. I caught a jig and wrap. But the whole way up, it never rolled. And I'm like, I'm trying to talk myself in and out of this whole scenario. Like, it's a catfish. No, it's not. This could be it. Like this. And I've had 4 over 10 pounds in my life, but I can't break the 11-pound mark. So like that, since I've been a kid, like that's, and I'm just like, I thought that was the one, and it comes up to be like a 12-pound catfish, and I'm like, this is dumb. Like,
I caught 3 last year. I didn't. Well, you can't see my hands. They were huge. I don't know if they were. We called them 15-pounders. I don't know that they were monsters, right? But then again, a catfish doesn't have to be that big to be a monster. Yeah. But.
So you get that on that ultralight rod, and it's coming up. Like, where are you at? Like, Are you telling Ryan if you miss this, you're swimming back to shore? Like, I mean,
No, it didn't quite ever get to that point. But I mean, at one point I thought maybe it was tangled up in the tree, just the way it was reacting and everything. And well, right away when I hooked it, that's what I thought had happened is I got it hooked up in the tree and I was about to lose another one, jigging wrap. And then when it started fighting back, I knew that, I had something on, and then I had to figure out how to get him up out of the tree, and I didn't want to horse him up out of there. So we just kind of let him do his thing. And yeah, he just kind of slowly came. And I mean, it was a fight.
Did you have braid on with a floral leader? What were you using for test pounds?
So I was actually, when we went to the registration and stuff and checked in, Bo was actually set up in a booth there and with Sunline. And I was talking to him and asking him what he was using for line and everything. And he talked us into some of that Sunline. And pardon me, I forget the name of it, but it's pink colored, if that helps you any. But the biggest thing that sold me on it was he says that you don't have the problem with wind knots.
Oh,
so I was all about that because anybody that jig wraps knows that that's the thing. And, if you can avoid that, you're so much more productive. So actually that night, go ahead.
He talked about that Sunline. Is that the sinking stuff?
Yep.
Like, so I thought he said it sinks.
yeah, I don't know. I tried finding some.
I don't know what it is, but I'm going to be looking for some because even last night fishing off the shore, I kept wrapping around the tip and everything else like that.
I was struggling with finisher with that and the fact that it would hook on itself. And I should have had the thicker line, the 12-pound test that Kyle Peterson said in his finisher 411. So you really have to pay attention to these guys that know what they're talking about because they're really giving you great advice because you do waste a ton of time if you're not using the right line.
Right. And I know when I first started jigging wrap and, I was using 8-pound test and I having troubles all the time with the tangled up. And yeah, since I went up to a heavier line, it's night and day difference. But I actually got some Sunline from him too that, and I was using 16-pound for a leader. And yeah, I haven't had any problem with it tangling. So.
Yeah, no problems like that. Yeah. Nate never has any problems.
Nothing.
Yeah. Just personal.
Never tangles or nothing.
Nate sent me a picture.
The only problem he has is he can't beat me in any tournament he fishes against me in. He's literally put his team name as Beat Kurt, and he can't beat me. Terrible fisherman.
That's funny. You'll next time you see Nate, you'll have to ask him. He sent me a picture of the big gash he had on his shoulder, and I thought the thing was going to need stitches or something. But anyway, you'll have to ask him about the big cut he's got on his shoulder. And I'll tell you what, that's a cut, boy. I don't know how you do that back there, but. No, okay. So now here's the deal. You were scoping, right?
Oh yeah.
And so with all the scoping controversy and this, that, and the other thing, I start asking people on a scale of 1 to 5, where do you put yourself as a forward-facing sonar expert? And don't be embarrassed to say 1 because I'm going to say 1 myself. Kurt, Kurt's a 1,
maybe a -1.
I can't say I'm definitely not a 5. That's for sure. And if I had to say, it's probably a 1 or 2.
Okay. And don't if you think or go ahead.
I can't identify fish on a scope. They're all blobs to me. So that's why I pretty much throw at anything and everything and hope for the best.
Well, that's one way to get it done.
And with that being said, you caught 1 fish on Sunday. Your partner caught a couple, but everybody thinks you're automatic. They call it spotlighting. I hate that term, spotlighting. Yep. Is you're not guaranteed. How many fish would you say you casted at that never connected?
Right. I mean, for 2 days. And I mean, I caught fish Sunday or Saturday morning and stuff, but I think that storm definitely did something to them Saturday night and disrupted them a little bit where they're a lot harder to catch on Sunday. So
yours Did you say yours was at the top of the trees, or was it down a bit?
No, it was down a bit. It was down under a limb and everything. So it was definitely down. I would say down more towards the bottom.
Oh, really? So down at on the lower part of the canopy, right?
Yeah. He was under the canopy. So because that was one of my big concerns when I was reeling him up is, the limb that I dropped underneath to get to him. So
I talked to a guy the other day that had, you know what? Maybe it was Tom Wynn that was doing some stuff in it, and he got it out of the tree and brought it back down, and it wrapped around the limb and done. But yeah, that's the crazy thing. When I told you that you had to tell the secret, I'm like, well, you're going to have to tell the world. You're going to have to give us the full scoop. You're going to have to give us the juice because Target Walleye is going to want to know what it is and this, that, and the other thing. You're like, I'm a fisherman. I don't tell.
Yeah, we're pulling keel weights with salmon eggs on them.
So you get the fish hooked. You get it in the boat. At what moment did you know, holy crap, I won this thing? Or I'm sitting in the spot to win this thing?
I really didn't know because I hadn't been looking at the leaderboard all day. So I really didn't know what was there for weights and stuff. I didn't know until I went and weighed it in. I figured, with that caliber of fish, I figured maybe I'd win a session or something. I never figured I'd win the tournament with it. So I really didn't know until I went to weigh it in. And they were saying what the weight to beat was. And we'd weighed it in the boat, so we kind of knew where his weight was. So
what did it weigh in the boat for you?
Round 14 is what we were estimating it at.
And frankly, it was a 14-pound fish, 13.95. So
right.
So from the time you caught it, did you just buckle down and blow in it like we're done? Because obviously Ryan already had his fish weighed in.
Right. Yeah. I think of it, of all the times we ever moved, I think it was the quickest we have ever packed up and got the boat moving. So
get in. We don't want to lose any weight, nothing, and get this thing in there to weigh it in.
Yeah. We were worried about it puking something up or something, and so it was just like, let's get there, get it weighed in before it does.
I mean, I would have been like, beside myself, like, God, I haven't caught a fish to weigh in this thing. Like, what am I doing here? Like all that, because you're at the break point, right? You're at,
I was beyond that. I was so frustrated. I was ready just to sit down and call it quits. It was like, yep, let's just go home. It ain't gonna happen. So
no, then you got the answer. Like,
yeah. So you hook into this fish, you get in there, you weigh it in, and now you are the new leader. How much time is left before this thing is done?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Did you sit beside the scale the entire time?
No, we actually got in the boat and went back down to Bob's to get the boat out of the water and stuff. So I didn't. And the whole way back, I couldn't look at my phone. I couldn't see where if the leaderboard was changing, if anybody else was weighing in. I kept looking at my phone to see what time it was and everything. But then once it hit 3:00, I finally opened my phone and looked at the leaderboard to see where everybody was at, if I was still leading it.
So were you driving at that moment?
No, Ryan was actually driving the boat and everything. So
were you driving when you looked at your phone, saw it was 3:00, finalized, Tobey Hofer just won $15,000? Because I watched tournament weigh-ins and I've screamed at the top of my lungs, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like when Tom Wynn and Drew Schutz won the championship, I'm pretty sure the cars that passed me on the highway could hear me yelling in my pickup. Like, what was that like?
Well, I was actually I had my fish house up at Bob's actually, and I was staying in that, and I was in there and Ryan happened to be in there with his wife too and everything. And I was looking at my phone, and it was such a shock. I didn't know how to even express it. It was just like, I just sat there and it was like, what just happened? And I couldn't believe it.
You were cool, calm, and collected. Well, like I told you, if I were you, I'd be crapping my pants. I mean, I'd have diarrhea right there because not only did you know you won, you had to wait to know you won, and then you found out you won, and then you had to wait more before you got your trophy and your check. They drug it out, and I don't know why they do that. I guess they, for whatever reason. So yeah, I got to hand it to you because you held your composure. I mean, I probably would have just made my way to stage and just said, "Give me the damn check and the cup. Let's go."
I think it took till Monday really for it to sink in totally that what it exactly had happened and that I'd actually won it. I was just in such shock that, it's like getting in a car accident and you really don't know what happens until 2 weeks later, exactly what happened. You just got to replay all that in your mind.
Time to more and heavier rod. I don't know. Maybe that rod's the trick.
That might work.
Maybe the rod. It's got to be the rod. I mean, I was struggling all day till I use that rod. So that was probably what it was.
So there's some of that $15,000 coming to Bible for a few more rods, huh?
Yeah, we've been having a conversation already.
I think there's probably got be a few more people that are like, well, I got to have that rod now, right? So I guess I have to ask you too. Did you get or
see Bible even thing? Got to be the rod.
Did you get the call from or a message from Target Walleye wanting to know the full scoop and the juice?
No, I haven't. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
you guys are like the leaders on the board here.
Perfect.
That's that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you go out there, you do this. Like I said, I've told all these guys, I always ask them like that day, they don't know what the heck happened until many days later. Like you said, Monday it sunk in. So it's kind of like that in awe. Like, did this really happen? Did this really happen? And I kind of like, as a tournament director of the Gov Cup, when Bo won with the massive weight he won with, I went back Monday night and watched the weigh-ins, just that part of it. Cause I'm like, I think I'm in awe. Like, I don't think this really happened. Like, I can't believe we weighed 61 pounds for 12 fish in the Gov Cup. Like, what is going on?
Right. Yeah. That's great. Okay, so let me do this quick here. I just want to get this. I don't want to get it out of the way, but I want to address it. So Lee asked this question about a wrapping rod and what to use, and I was going to say, ooh, Lee, hang on. Tom's going to have better information for you. So then Tom comes back with, that whole medium light thing has been all the rage from quite a few guys. So
I mean, Bible's on. He can chime in what he sells a lot of, because that's kind of where he started his realm, was jig wrapping rods.
Yeah. And it does take the right rod, because I was using I think it was a medium heavy fast, and I'm not even close. I tried a medium, didn't work, and you got to have the right rod. I still don't have the right rod. I thought we were going to hang with Josh and do some fishing, but we'll have to figure out the rod thing at another date. But nonetheless, still kind of fun.
Well, yes, makes a phenomenal rod. I've been really impressed. I actually took a bunch of his rods this spring, different ones, and was fishing with them all spring. And we even went out to Erie with it. And I didn't use it out at Erie because I was worried about using too big of jigs out there, and I didn't want to break one of his loaner rods. So, but yeah, I actually got a lot of his rods in my hand and got to play with them a little bit. And what better way to figure out, what rod works for you?
Yeah, and there is something to that. I'm going to go back to this real quick. Dan, it was a kill tournament.
Yeah, unfortunately, by South Dakota law, we have to kill after June 1st to September 15th. But like I was talking to a couple guys that fished it, and running the Gov Cup, we kill all those fish, not by our choice, by state making us do it. And there's reasons behind it: deep water, water temp, a bunch of different things. I wish we'd really do some work on more testing on it. I've talked about that for a few times, of let's get some biologists at these tournaments. Let's look at these fish. Let's figure out what they actually do. But the big thing is, I was talking to Paulie Steffen today, and he said, the biggest thing with it is you weren't weighing as many fish as like we do in the Gov Cup.
Yeah.
Right. They were weighing big ones, but not as many fish like in the Gov Cup. So go back to Bible's comment there.
It builds on a medium, but a lot of people like the medium lights. Just need to be careful casting the heavy jigs. You can break the tips if you're not careful casting. Okay, so that's good info right there, because breaking a tip kind of wrecks a rod in a quick hurry.
Yeah.
Especially if it's brand new. I mean, it's to go back to Dan's comment on a kill tournament, I know that tournament fishermen get a bad rap on you're killing all the fish in the lake, you're killing all the big fish in the lake. But I'm going to tell you, there are as many locals out there that are taking more fish on a daily basis, and sometimes a second limit that they're not supposed to be taking. So we can point fingers at a whole bunch of people, but we all buy a license. We all have the opportunity to take fish out. I know that thing is acting really goofy, but we've all got the chance to take fish out of the lake, and it's just the way it is. And here's the other thing. There was a comment too about the Columbia. Isn't it nice that Oahe is kind of becoming a little bit of a Columbia River?
Yeah, I mean,
ourselves here.
81 pounds on the Columbia with no slot limit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
So we got a couple of comments. Tom was talking about it's because the braid line, you go down to a mag light. If you
use mono, go heavier.
Yeah. So we got another comment, a couple more comments here. It all depends on what type of line you're going to use, but what's this one here? Why are they not set up to no call a lot of slots? The thing is we have to. I mean, it's not unless you want to do catch, measure, release. And I tell people on the catch, measure, release, Toby's fish would have been, whatever 30 inches says, not 1395. Right. I mean, anybody who caught a 30 incher would have all had a 12-pound fish. Say, right. I don't know what the conversion is. Right. I've never looked at them. I don't know, but it would have all been a 12-pound fish. So the other guy that weighed a 1355 in would have technically tied him, right, because the weight's the same. So unless you do the catch, measure, release on the boat, and I'm sorry, but weigh-ins are boring when you're watching pictures come across the screen.
They are.
You don't get to see fish. You don't get to hold up fish. You don't get the moment like that happen. I'm like this. You don't get the moment of it.
That's all you get. Seriously, that's all you get, right? But to see that fish in person, Toby, you were holding it in person. Golly gosh almighty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that picture don't do it any justice. If you look at some of the other pictures I got of it, and granted, I kicked myself for not taking any in the boat right after we caught it, but we were so concerned about getting it in and getting it weighed that we didn't even bother taking any boat pictures with it. So, but there's pictures of it. So, and it is a phenomenal fish. I mean,
100%. You handled that fish several times, and probably one of your proudest moments was holding it up on that stage.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You handled it in the boat. You could have taken a picture there, but when you went up on that stage after you knew you won it and you held it up, that's the best.
Right.
Yeah. It was too bad that the check was in the projector, but they had to take it from a $10,000 check to a $15,000 check. And then they wrote your name on it. And I think they spell your name with an EY too.
I didn't. No. I got evidence of that. We're good on that. That was only you.
Take it home. It's written right. Your Happy Gilmore check was written. What did the bank think when you brought the Happy Gilmore check?
Well, I actually called the banker and actually had him come pick it up. So.
Oh, no. Oh, that's funny.
I got that awesome of a banker. He just comes to me, so I don't got to go to him.
Oh, that works out pretty good. So when you got paid, because a lot of people got cash and then some people got checks. You obviously just got one big check, right? I mean, the one regular size business type of check, and then
I got two. I got the one for the session and the one for the big fish.
Oh, right. Oh, that's right. So so you got more money because you because you took first in that session as well. So
Right.
big family vacation, or did you split the money with Ryan, or what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, we're working that out, and yeah, it's gonna get split. So yeah,
We're working out the
so,
details.
so that don't work for a family vacation.
Yeah, probably not. All right. So now the other thing that we really do want to know, I mean, what did you have tied on the other end of the line? Can you give us a little bit of it? Tell us what you tried and what you didn't try, and then just quickly say what worked.
Fishermen don't do that. You know that. I've told you that.
I know, but it's our
between
job to
hook
get it
sets,
out of
we
you.
get it out of you.
Uh-huh.
Everybody knows what you got to do for a big fish up there. It's all jig wrapping. So,
And do you
Whites.
egg whites? Do you think color makes a difference when you're jig wrapping? Because it's a reaction bite. Do you think color makes a difference when you're 30, 40, 50, 60 feet down?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
if you watch them on the live scope, I mean, I'm the type of person that when I'm fishing, I'm always throwing something different out and just to see how it works. And once I find something that works, that's what I'm using. But it's getting to that point. So,
See, he told me that too. Told me that on Sunday that he was using salmon eggs, and I'm like, well, don't tell your secret. Just tell him you're in 6 feet of water with a red and white daredevil. It'll be fine. They'll Dakota Mart will sell out of red and white daredevils like there's no tomorrow. That's the other thing I've noticed too. When somebody, so Toby, if you were to tell us what it was, let's say the blue and chrome finisher. Right? Is the blue and chrome got the orange on the belly? And I don't know what the technical color is, but I guarantee if you were to go to a store after you said that they would be gone from every store. And I don't care if it's a coast to coast, a Super Value, if it's a Walmart or if it's Cabela's or Dakota Mart, they're all going to be gone because they heard Toby was using the blue and silver.
Well, that's why I don't want to say, because I want to be able to walk into the store and actually buy what I'm looking for.
Blue gummy worms.
Gummy worms.
He thinks it's blue gummy worms.
Yeah, that's funny.
On a jig head, they are freaking phenomenal what you can catch with them.
He wants to say, Tom wants to know if you spent your money on a Garmin yet.
No, not yet. Working on it. So maybe this weekend. We'll see what happens.
That's going to take a good
It's either that or I got to send my kid to college. So I got to figure out which one's more important.
So you can explain that your boys got the big setup there with the Rode mic and mic stand and the swing and the whole nine. I mean, you got a nicer setup than we do. Holy man!
He does. This is all him.
Yeah, that's way too much fun.
So let's get into, we kind of put the cart in front of the horse here. Like, get into who Tobey Hofer is, how you got into fishing. And you fished a few tournaments. You fished the Gov Cup this year, I believe, for your first time. But get into your backstory a little bit. I know it's too exciting not to talk about the big one first.
Gotta know it. Yep.
Fishing's kind of always been in my family. I mean, I grew up fishing with Dad in the boat and everything, and it's just kind of always been in my blood. And even my father-in-law, I mean, I've fished with him and everything, and so it's just always been something you did when you weren't at work. That's what you did. You went fishing. So
is that back when Nate and you shared blood and you were actually cousins?
I don't recall fishing with Nate so much when I was younger. I remember deer hunting and stuff with him.
No, you were not fishing cousins then. Okay.
Right.
So here's a question for you, Toby. Mono or fiber? I'm guessing maybe or floral.
Braid.
You braid?
I'm thinking that's mono. That sun stuff that I was using. No, it's floral. I'm pretty sure it's floral.
I think Bo would be using floral. Yeah. I don't think they'd be wasting their time with mono on that. But very true though.
So we're going to figure out what the Sunline is because that's going to sell out.
Yep.
And we're going to JB Custom Designs is going to be pretty busy tonight. Bible, you might want to put your link on here in the comments so people can see where to buy these ultralight jig wrap rods.
Yeah, right on. And then I'd love to just text Bo and say, hey, can you give us a line on that Sunline? But when I sat down and Bo sat next to me and I showed him a picture of Jaden Wendell, the kid from Valley City that took second in the Montana Gov Cup, took second in the North Dakota Gov Cup, and then the Dakota Walleye Classic. So 3 seconds in 3 weeks. And I just said, Bo, we got to get to know this kid. This kid's a stick. And he's your age. He just turned 18 too. And Bo turned and looked away. And I didn't get a chance to say, I just want you to meet the guy and know the guy, reach out and know him. And I said, boy, sure be fun if you two could fish with each other for giggles. I hope he didn't think I was pushing Jaden Wendell on him, but that Jaden Wendell kid is going to be fun to watch. Bo is going to be fun to watch. And the cool thing is you got to have more than one, right? So there are others out there. And man, I'll tell you, we're going to have Jaden Wendell on sometime this winter after the season's over because the kid's got a great story.
So this is a huge congratulations here from this guy.
Right on.
The state record holder throws it up to you. Nice work, buddy. So, you know, I mean, he knows how to catch him up there trolling. I don't know if he was trolling this weekend or not, but, you know,
What a good one.
AFTCO did a hell of a deal up there. That was an awesome derby. So you kind of got into fishing with Dad, but that was probably like, you know, bottom bouncing and maybe pulling Lindy rigs like we used to back in the day. Right. You know, I never bottom bounced. We always Lindy rigged.
Dude, would you end up going to Thompson? Where did you cut your teeth? What lake?
I've been all over fishing. I mean, I remember fishing a lot of times down at Fort Thompson and stuff down there when we were kids and stuff in a little 16-foot tiller handle Lund boat. And there's 6 of us piled in the boat and everybody's got a line hanging off the side of the boat. And so, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I almost forgot to ask. So what did you use to catch that big fish?
Salmon eggs. Salmon eggs and keel weights.
He just spit it out. Well, that didn't work, but you can't say I didn't try.
No, we're trying. But you go out there and you do, you know, you kind of progressed, right? Like Byron and Cavor, yeah. Cavor, he learned all his jig wrap techniques on Lake Byron and Cavor Lake.
Right, yeah.
Lake Byron doesn't get over like 12 feet deep. You do 2 jigs and hit yourself in the face with the wrap.
And I don't know if you can get through all the moss, the green.
Yeah. But you kind of, when did you make the progression to more serious tournament angler than you know, fun fisherman?
I don't. So Ryan actually was talking to me this winter about doing the Gov Cup and wanted to get into it. And I was a little hesitant at it, but I was just like, well, I guess if you need somebody to go with you type of thing, you know, I'll do it. So, and I don't know when this AFTCO deal came out. I think it was about a month ago that they were doing this. And I happened to be talking with Lance Cheddar. And he's just like, I think you should go do this. It'd be a fun tournament, you know, and everything. And I was just like, agreed to it. And why, I don't know. But it just, I never got to looking at the rules and the layout and everything. And I really liked it, the way that they were doing everything. So I agreed to do it. And I don't know, after doing the Gov Cup, I mean, the Gov Cup is a great tournament and everything, but after doing this one, it's just so relaxed and chilled that it's just a fun little tournament to do.
Yeah, the Gov Cup is grueling. I mean, people don't realize, like, you know, I talk to guys that are like, you see them little kids out there, and I'm like, man, it is a long 2 days. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just the tournament days, not including practice days and everything that lead up to it. But the Gov Cup is a gruel. And this year, the weather was fairly nice for the Gov Cup. It wasn't 114 like we've seen. It wasn't, you know,
a little wet, but
you know,
well, yeah, the weather.
I'd rather have the rain and the little bit of wind we had. I've had 58-mile-an-hour winds, straight line winds come up out of nowhere in that event. It is grueling 2 days. And this really probably wasn't that grueling, you know.
No, and there was so many different ways to win money. I mean, they even had a category of the person closest to 3 pounds could weigh in and win money. I mean, what better way to encourage people to go out and keep fishing even after they catch their big one, or if they happen to tie into something littler or whatever.
So you go out and you do that. And like I said, I talked to Jerry Beadle up there, and he's like, day one, I'm going to Mobridge and I'm trolling south. Day two, I'm going to Whitlock's and trolling north.
That's a good plan.
I got guys that really don't fish all that much. So I got a lot of, you know, I saw a lot of young kids out there. You know, I know Pazur fished with his 2 daughters. I mean, it was as many people in your boat as you wanted, basically, that you could comfortably fish, and you could
what an awesome family event too. I mean, you could have your kids in there and, you know, have the potential to win quite a bit of money with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I honestly, you know, what was the coolest thing about the entire awards ceremony was the fact that there were big boys going on stage, and there were little boys, young boys going, and young girls. I don't want to leave, and women, you know. So there were adults and children going up on stage with each other in between. So it wasn't just a bunch of adults and then a bunch of kids. And I thought that was kind of cool. It gives those kids a chance to feel like they accomplished something that the adults did too.
And even to intermix them with the adults on the weigh-ins and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and you talk about weigh-in. I had an opportunity. Brian let me take a peek in the coolers at the trophy fish that they were keeping, and it was amazing the number of monster walleye, huge walleye, 27, 28, 29 inches, that had small heads, and then some of the older ones that had the bigger heads. So you could tell we're certainly growing some of these big fish fast.
See, and I talked to somebody about that this week, and they say, no, the growth rates are the same.
They are, no matter what. So
a growth rate is growth rate, but I brought that up to them. They're like, wow, that'd have been great for some biologists to be there to look at those difference in fish, because if there was that big a noticeable difference in the fish, why is that? Why is some got huge heads and big scales, and some had small heads and little scales? Like, why? Now, was your fish a big-headed, you know, I can't really tell from the pictures, but was that gigantic head, or was it more of a smaller head?
Yeah, it was more of a smaller headed.
Big.
Yeah. I suppose part of that 15 grand is going to a taxidermy bill, I'd hope.
Well, of course.
Too. That's especially after you get the 5.
Are you retiring the JB Custom Design ultralight rod above it, and having to build you a new one, or are you going to continue to fish with that?
Well, you know, you can't throw old Lucky to the side, you know, just because she did her job. So why not make her do her job again?
The new rapid rod, the ultralight.
Why not buy more?
Yeah.
So I mean, what a fish, what a story. I mean, it's the first time we've ever seen one of these in the walleye world. You know, I was talking to Chad about it, and I've watched anglers in action, the Big Bass Bash, and I've heard about them down south where they have 1,400 boats on the water doing this. Then Chad was telling us they did one for crappies.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine weighing in that many crappies and being in the ounces game? I mean, that thing is just we lost him. A sheer ounce game at the crappies.
Oh, that would drive me absolutely nuts.
Just insane.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking ounces on who's going to win what fish.
Yeah, I literally, if I would have been Tobey, I'm not kidding you, for all that he had to wait to get to that point where he held the fish up and had the opportunity to hold the check and the big cup. I mean, I just would have absolutely been a wreck.
I mean, did your kids screen limit time hit, or what happened there in his gaming system?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but yeah.
I didn't know if the screen limit time hit or what.
Yeah. So,
but hey, man, we're getting close to that hour mark. We huge congratulations to you. What an accomplishment, and what a first 30-inch fish.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't script it better.
No, you couldn't. And it's just been a phenomenal, just the way it's happened, and even everybody that's reached out to me and congratulated me. It's just, I'm just thankful to have all them people, around me. So
I watched a video you posted online with your win, and the AFTCO video they did of that was pretty freaking sweet. If you haven't seen that one, check out that little AFTCO video they did of you winning the thing.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job with photography and everything there.
And then a big shout out to Nate too for calling all the cousins to make sure they called to congratulate you and know that you won.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got another question.
One more.
Salmon eggs and keel weights.
All ladies tournament idea too. That was a good one.
Yeah. So, what color jig wrap was that?
Yeah,
what
right.
size?
What you said?
It's a custom painted one.
Okay. So what colors?
I mean, Bo and Ben broke the news that they were what color they were using. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, if I'm gonna get an edge, and if I'm gonna keep doing tournaments, I got to keep my edge.
Well, you have to, because you got one 34-incher hang. It was 30. How long was it? 30.
32.
32. Yeah. So you got one 32 hanging on the wall. It can't hang there by itself.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
And don't be like Nate and mount 5-pounders.
You're right.
Well, my first fish that I did mount, it was a 28.5-inch walleye, but where I caught it at, it probably only weighed about 5 pounds.
Oh,
so yeah.
Nate's is like 20.
They didn't have any girth to them. So.
Yeah. I did. I already asked. I said, "What didn't you use?
What didn't work?"
Right.
Narrow down the colors that didn't work for us.
Well, jig heads and worms did not work.
You tried the old
really I didn't give them a college try though. I did try them though.
Okay. Oh, that's too good. That is way too good.
Well, I mean, congratulations again. You won the first ever walleye showdown. I mean,
AFTCO Walleye Throwdown.
Walleye Throwdown. What an honor, and to be your first one over 30 inches. Congratulations for making a club and doing it with a bang.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm still, I even today, it's still sinking in, and it's just so hard to wrap my head around that it actually happened the way it happened and everything. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure the sponsors are going to call if you tell what color jig wrap you were using,
or the
a
pitching puppet.
A pitching.
We're calling you now.
We were talking about those the other day with Bo. If you use any of the other, other brands, or is it always got to be the Rapala jig wrap?
Well, when I first started doing this, it was Tika minnows, and I don't know why that I had a bunch of them and was using them, and they seemed to work back then, but my tackle box is full of anything and everything. If it looks like it might work, I probably got it in my tackle box.
I tell everybody they paint jig wraps and all these things different colors for us, not the fish.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, 100%. And I'm just as guilty as anybody of buying them all. So if they look cool and I think that they're going to actually do something, I'll fish them until I lose them.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100%. And, I went last night and spent a little bit of money on some finishers. Yep. And, they're not cheap to buy, but they sure are fun to use.
Well, them finishers, I got on them last year when I was out there fishing with Nate, and I went and I bought a whole bunch of them, and I was bound determined to figure out how to make them catch fish. And I kind of sort of have got them figured out. Probably not nearly as good as I've got these jigging wraps figured out, but I'm working on it. So,
well, I think the biggest thing about them is you wouldn't think it, but they fall so much slower than a jig wrap.
I was just gonna say it's the rate of fall, and they fall slow, and because a lot of people complain about that, but that's the whole point. And you take the jigging wrap, and that jigging wrap, right? You bring it up, and when it comes down, it doesn't sink. it's gliding and it's coming around and it's doing it slow. And I think slow is maybe the key.
Yeah. And I think you need to figure, it's like anything. You need to figure out what the fish want. I mean, even with jigging wraps, some days you got to cast them, some days you got to vertically jig them, and some days you got to rip them, and some days you got to finesse them. So
yeah,
you got to figure out what's working that day.
No doubt.
So
awesome.
Yeah. Congrats again for like the 4th time, and enjoy it, buddy. You deserve it. And what an honor to have you on tonight.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
All right. Fantastic. Way to use that black and silver jigging wrap there. Is it right?
Hey, I told you that in confidence.
Oh, all right. Hey, take care. Thank you much for hanging with us, because we do appreciate it. And thanks for sharing your telephone number.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh,
yeah, man.